10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Two lights now, into go, go, go. What's your favorite the ball?
Exciting stuff already happening here.
He's got to make his move now. These are the gold of race drivers.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the amazing finales of the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup here in Singapore. I'm Claire Jedrick, and joining me this evening is Hong Sui.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to the 2024 Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore Grand Finals. Now, it feels like yesterday that we were commentating for the 2023 season, but here we are.
I know. Well, it's kind of crazy because it does feel like the year has kind of whizzed by since I last saw you. I do see you on a yearly basis. And really we're coming live here from Toyota's showroom, and that is their flagship showroom. We've got lots of people around us actually watching this, and this is in Lane Key. Now, Hong, we're here for a whole new season. Let's break it down.
Right, there is a watch party for those of you who are watching live at home. Thank you for joining us, but also a huge shout out to the massive amount of of people sitting right in front of Claire and I. This is the live watch party that's happening right here at the showroom. They're here for some exciting games. There's sim racing challenges, reaction challenges, Sherwin claw grabbing machine, guaranteed Toyota merchandise, a lot of fun-filled activities, and popcorn. That's the only thing in my mind right now.
I know, you've been talking about this popcorn. Somebody get some popcorn, please.
Smells so good.
We also had a Q&A session with Denise Teo, who is a live streamer as well. She came on a little bit and she'll be hosting some of this. But like you said, there's also with the Toyota merchandise, and there's always an opportunity to come down and win some more prizes. Well, tell us. Let's talk about the final 3 races for tonight, and then we'll get on to the semi-finals in a little bit.
That's right. Now, the drivers, all the drivers, I think there were like dozens upon dozens of drivers who signed up for this year's challenge, and they had to go through a time trials in order to qualify for tonight's qualifiers, in order to compete in tonight's race.
Qualify to qualify.
Exactly, right. It's multi-layered. That only means 2 things. Number 1, there are a lot of people participating in this year's race. And number 2 is that competition is tight and it's hot. Now the drivers, first during the time trials, they had to compete with the Toyota GR86 at Brands Hatch Indy before taking the competition to Sardinia Road Track B and Kyoto Driving Park Yamagiwa in the Toyota GR Yaris. And from there, the top 12 contenders who will be competing for tonight's race will be determined. So like you mentioned earlier, Claire, we will be watching those semi-finals really, really soon.
That's right, but before we get to that, before we get to the highlights, I want to talk about the Toyota Gazoo Racing. Now, of course, these are the organizers for the spectacular racing series that has just really grown over the last 2 or 3 years. And Toyota Gazoo Racing, or TGR in short, it is the brainchild of Toyota's commitment towards making ever better cars. And really, Toyota's history in motorsports, it spans over 60 years.
A really long time.
I know, it's amazing, really, if you didn't know that, and really they harness that knowledge gained from extreme motorsports conditions, and they refine every aspect of its cars and all types of road conditions. So it's exciting stuff, and really Toyota Gazoo Racing, it's about pushing the limits, the boundaries for the better.
That's right, Claire. Now, competitors tonight will be competing in the Gran Turismo 7, which brings together the best features of real driving simulator by recreating the look and feel of these bleeding-edge supercars in unparalleled detail. It brings these realistic cars racing to life and deliver a competition that's worthy of the Toyota Gazoo Racing badge.
Now, because all of this is going down live, we're seeing everybody mingle, get comfortable here at the watch party with their bean bags and large screen. We are going to take a quick look right now, because you guys are very comfortable, at the highlights from this year's semi-finals.
All right, so these are your 24 drivers who competed in the semifinals. 24 drivers, they will be split into 2 groups, 12 drivers per group, and they'll be doing 2 races each. Now, this is where it's very important because only 12 of the 24 drivers will be allocated a slot for tonight's grand finals.
And that's right, this is where King of the Castle matters the most. And last year's winner, we did have F. Issa, is that correct there, who was last year's winner. And I think we are looking at Group B. So there's Group A, Group B, out of the 24 competitors. And of course, like you said, the top 12 will move on. Now, it's a very close race here. As you can see on the screens for our semi-finals, final lap there.
That's right. Now the timing for a lot of these drivers are really, really close because a lot of them spend 23 hours a day practicing, and like they say, you know, practice makes perfect, so it's lap after lap after lap. Oh, you can see that Boyzan, who was in 3rd, went off track and dropped all the way from, I think it was 3rd down to 9th position. Now this is a teaser of what all of you can expect in tonight's race. It will be bumper to bumper racing, mirror to mirror, door to door. They're going to be pushing every single inch of circuit, in every single inch of track.
MVP there with the fastest lap there in the purple sector you see on the screens. Okay, looking now, we've got a lot of new characters this year. I think this lot here, this is still Group B with Dylan. here with the 8 pace, and right now FE, last year's winner there with fastest lap 152.689 out on the circuit. It's going to be very interesting with him again up on top. Will he be able to handle the pressure? Because to get to the top is great, but to keep that spot, not an easy feat. And there's a lot of newbies in this who are gunning to steal that crown away.
No, you're absolutely right, Claire. I've spoken to a lot of sim drivers and real drivers like you do as well over the years, and every single time we hear the same thing. The drivers say it's a little bit easier to be doing the chasing than to be the one being chased because of all the pressure that comes from leading the pack. And just like you mentioned earlier, Fadris Issa, who was our 2023 champion, will have to fight tooth and nail to defend that coveted spot, that title, top spot of the podium.
And you know, you're right. Back in the day, as a retired race driver, and it's really funny actually, I've known Hong a long time. We've been over a decade. We used to go and like write articles and stuff like that. I prefer chasing.
Okay.
I feel like it's game on when that happens. Okay, we're going to take a look at the scoreboard here for the points of the semi-finals outstanding. That is from the highlights there. You can see R24, who is up on top. Even Yo, who has appeared as a new contender, up in first position for race 1, race 2, to see the totals for the points there. And that runs down to the 24 competitors.
That's right. Now it's an accumulation of points. So these 24 drivers did all 3 races, and the total point system, or rather the total points that they have accumulated, will determine if they make it into the top 12 or not. And here, I believe, will be the point standing for all 24 drivers. And next up will be your top 12 finalists. In first position, Ethan Yeo. Second, Fadris Issa. Third, Jaden Liao. And fourth, Izan Amra.
In fifth position, Dylan Tan. Sixth, Mohammed Faris. Seventh, Chua Sing Han. And eighth, Raymond So. Who's the last lot.
Right. And to complete these 12 drivers, this lineup for tonight, number 9 is Hafiz Ryan, 10 Jaja Ishibashi, 11 Louis Lam, and 12 Saim Rasya. Now these are your 12 drivers who will be racing in tonight's grand finals. Claire, you mentioned earlier, you know, we have a lot of new drivers joining this pack. I think it's testament that the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore and Asia as a whole has really expanded and grown exponentially, attracting all these talents in the sim racing world, the real life go-kart racing world to join this competition. And those new drivers, some of them we know, some of them we don't.
I know, I feel like I've practically watched them grow up from the age of 12 to now young grown men. Like, you know, it's a bit weird for me, but it's amazing as well to see their development in the racing world and actually branching out to the different aspects of actual racing, go-karting, or even to single-seaters, or into esports, which finally, it's a huge esports. You know, 10 years ago, we were waiting for this to make its impact, and these guys here have really put down incredible display skills and talent, and as you saw there with the 24 semi-finalists, congratulations to all of them, and that 12 will now qualify for tonight's final.
Right. Well, they will qualify for tonight's qualifiers, and then they will need to qualify in the qualifiers to determine their starting position for race 1. Now, we do have quite a few bits and pieces we need to go through.
That's right, the nuts and bolts of what is coming out for this finals here. Let's give a rundown of the point system for finals.
That's right. This year's championship title will go to the racer with the highest points accumulated across all 3 races. Now, the points are different for race 1 and 2 versus race 3. For final race 1 and 2, from 1st till 12th, drivers will be awarded points in the following order: 20 points, followed by 15, 12, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, respectively.
And for final race 3, 25 points for the first place finisher, followed by 18 points, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 respectively. Well, we're going to go on to the on-screen game settings and sporting regulations. More importantly, tell us what's going on.
Now, to ensure that fair and competitive environment, the race organizers have mandated several settings. Counter steering assist and active stability management are prohibited during the race. BOP will be on, as well as penalties for taking shortcuts and wall collisions to keep drivers within the limits.
That is right. So with that, I do believe we're about to kick off and start the action for the qualifyings.
I'm excited.
And the finals. I'm really excited. I mean, like we said, we've been waiting a year for this, and I'm sure these guys have as well.
All right, well, let's go. First up, race one, it will be qualifying first. The drivers will be competing at Trail Mountain Track in the Toyota GR Corolla. This is a circuit, 5.44 kilometer long circuit with 15 turns. And I believe qualifying, oh, there we go. Qualifying is already underway live here at Toyota Singapore.
Penalties putting out already, looks like for boys zone was that. And already we've got a fastest lap there. So the time to beat Dr. Dacia Rastiani is 2 minutes 12:41, but I'm sure that is just the start.
Taken by Issa now, already clocking the fastest lap time, taking that spot away. I think in second right now is Dr. Dacia Rastiani, Umji MVP in third, and Please 4M Jade in fourth. Now it's a pretty tight qualifying session. They are already on to their final lap. So that means whatever timing they clock now, it will determine their starting position, starting grid for the race.
That's right. FISA very easily kind of scooping up that timing away from Dr. Dacia by a full second there with a purple overall timing there with 2:11.929. I do think it's possibly game over for them. This is only race one though. There is a lot more to go with the points and the accumulation. Let's just see on this final lap before we get down to the nitty-gritty details of race one.
That's right. Now the cameras are on Please 4M Jade. I'm just going to call Jade 369. It's a little bit easier. The camera is now on Dr. Dacia Rastiani. The question is, will he be able to beat Fadris Issa's fastest lap time that Claire just mentioned, 2:11.929. He is currently in second on the list, about 0.2 of a second behind. And they're coming up to the final last two corners before they come up to the front straight and the start-finish line. This is where it's going to be a little bit of a nail-biter. And we're going to see if that timing is going to be okay. He crosses to the last corner, 2 minutes on the clock. Will he be able to make it within the next 11 seconds over to the start-finish line? 5 seconds away. Will he take pole position away from Fadris Issa? We're going to find out really, really soon. It's down to the wire. No, he does not. He retains second position. Umji MVP in third.
A very close call there, but also brilliant to see there. What I love about one-make racing is that we can really see the boys from the men, and this really separates them to see their skill sets. So we saw that FEs are still up at 2:11.929 Hong, and we've got MG MVP still trying to smash out another lap, and we can see there some of the lines that they were taking. But let's just see what comes up next.
Well, that was an exciting qualifying session. Race will be starting very soon, and here are the results from the qualifying. So it is Fadris Issa up top with first pole position, 2:11.929, almost 0.5 of a second behind Isaiah Rastiani, Ethan Yo in third, 0.7 of a second behind. So we are not too far away from the start of race one, which will be happening soon. Good luck to all the competitors who will be racing tonight. We hope no connection issues. I know sim drivers pray to the connectivity gods that there are no network.
Well, you know, I'm just wondering if there's going to be nerves, or there's already nerves in qualifying, because I'm just seeing the disparity in the timings of +8 seconds. So that is quite a big difference. I don't know if it's like first time qualifying nerves, and of course some of the big boys have been here for a while, like Issa and stuff like that, who've done this multiple times,
right.
Feel at ease and confident. But you know what? Let's look to our screens right now, because we do have the finals that are about to start here for our race one.
Moments away from history in the making. Here are the lights coming on red.
It's a go, go, go. Green lights.
Race on. All 12 drivers moving off from the front straight. Pretty clean start. No incidents at the moment as they race down towards the first corner. It is Fadris Issa with a brilliant start, leading the pack from pole position. And Dr. Rastiani right there behind him.
That's right, some slipstreaming right there between Issa and Umji MVP, who's keeping it very tight. But Umji actually now on the inside there next to Dacia as we see them come through the tunnel here. This is lap one of lap 5 for the finals, and we see these guys. It is really bumper to bumper action. These guys are keeping it close here in sequence.
No.
But at the same time, that is creating some space for FISA there up in front.
That's right. This battle for second position is indeed allowing Fajrs Issa to have a little bit of a breathing space. Not much. I mean, 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. But for race drivers pushing the limit, that is everything. And he would need to build on that opportunity, rather. For leading and maintaining this lead. Camera now on Dr. Dasar Rasyat, who's in third position, right behind MVP. And I think they're going to clear this lap one really, really quickly.
Now, of course, those guys at the back there, Raymond, Daft Punk 187, these guys who are a little less technically, I would say, proficient or efficient, or maybe not sufficient in racing, they should actually be following the lines, because I do see some of them going off circuit. They should be following to get the fastest track of these guys. The guys up in front are using full width of the circuit here. I'm loving these angles, by the way. Okay, we see the rear end just come out there by CXH, who now has lost a position there.
To Dylan.
Down to Dylan. So Dylan just clinging on, but I can hear he is on the edge of grip.
Well, that was a classic example of what you just mentioned, just as you were saying about using the full width of the circuit. I think CXH there got a little bit of pressure from Dylan, wasn't able to go all the way out and shut the door. Dylan was able to exploit that, go on the outside and take that fifth position. Now, Dylan is a very well-known sim race driver as well, not just in Singapore, but in the region as a whole. But he is competing here at Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup for the first time.
So first lap there, as we saw earlier on, it was a 2:11 coming from FISA for their qualifications. 2:19 as these guys settle into to their pace, into the circuit, and kind of like find where they're at. So we'll see now in the next couple of laps, lap 2 to 5, where they really start placing. And it isn't a time for them to make the mistakes here. Right. As the gap widens, we see these timings come through.
Now all the drivers, in fact it's a game regulation, rather a regulation set by the organizers that they will have tire wear and fuel consumption is turned on, which means these drivers can push as hard as they want, but they do need to nurse and manage the tire degradation and of course the amount of fuel left in the cars. They could go all out for the first 4 laps and run out of fuel in the last lap, and that would be devastating for all the drivers.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, technically CXH, we saw his rear end kind of slip out under him right now. His tire wear, that would be a bit of a flat spot, but he managed to bring it back in, which a fabulous job there. But you will see that in the next couple of laps, you will see him have his rear end slip out even more, because he's already had that tire wear and a bit of damage on that.
That's right. Now this bald spots, something that happens not just in real life racing, but also here in sim racing, testament to how realistic these simulators are. Now we do have the fastest sector time clocked by Dr. Dasar Rasyat right there, and that was, I missed the timing, but he's really pushing it, and with MVP still holding on to that second position, not letting go and not easing off as well.
Well, that's right. As these two guys contend and battle it out, it gives a lot of clean space to FISA there, who probably look in his rear mirrors, let these guys battle it out, and MVP and all that, where he's having to defend his position, so he can really kind of control this race here. But that would ultimately be a bit of a sacrifice there for letting FISA.
That's right. Well, that also comes down to the strategy in how they plan on racing this 5-lap sprint race. I'm sure all the drivers know the cars very well. They know the circuit really well, and some of them may have a different strategy in terms of when they push, when they go full throttle, and when they drive a little bit more conservative, rather. Cameras now.
Well, I tell you what, FISA is not being conservative, because he's almost down to his qualifying times there, 2:11.999. So now he is on his flying lap, I would say. He's come up to pace, the same as his qualifying time there, as we go into lap 3 of this 5-lap race here.
It'll be interesting to see if Fajrs Issa will be able to maintain those lap times, and if he does, then it might be a bit of a challenge for some of the other drivers who are behind him. Cameras now on
penalty there for Daft
penalty.
Punk.
0.5 of a second penalty. I think that was the track limits going a little bit too wide. That you want to use the full width of the circuit, the full width of the track, but you can't go overboard because that gives you an advantage, and that's why you have a penalty kicking in.
So many things to think about, Hung.
No,
My
indeed.
goodness, tire wear, track limits, Who's doing what? Where am I? The pressure is on for these guys. Newcomer Dylan in 4th position, doing a phenomenal job there. I think it'll be quite interesting to actually follow up and see how he does for the next 2 races. But following once again OMG MVP and Dr. Dasyat Rasyat, he's only 0.4 seconds, and the gap is getting a lot less there, 0.35 as he slipstreams behind OMG MVP. But will OMG MVP crumble under the pressure for the last 2 laps and allow Dr. Dasyat to go on? We see there Duff Park with his time penalty. He's being rather a little creative out on circuit. It's not the right time to do this right now if he's trying to make up the points.
That's true, but he needs to defend that 7th position that he's in right now from Raymond 97, who's in 8th position. Here comes a slowing down penalty kicking in really quickly at the next deceleration line, and Raymond 97 taking advantage of that, coming on the inside before swinging right on the outside. Will he be able to overtake Daft Punk 187? It seems like he was indeed able to overtake and take 7th position.
Okay, it seems that Dr. Dasyat has kind of let off the gas now. He's now gone from 0.3 to +2 seconds. So we didn't quite see what happened just now with their timings there. But we see them, they were doing 2:12 laps, so 1 second off the race pace leader over there, as we see the difference in timings there.
Now, something really interesting that's not on camera at the moment is the new competitor Dylan Tan, who I believe started the race in 8th or 7th position, has slowly reeled out. There we go, camera's on him now, has reeled all the way up to 4th position. He still needs to contend with Jade 369, who is pushing him from behind in 5th position, but he's probably going to try to push a little bit harder now to see if he can make it up into the top 3 position. With a 1.7 second gap, it might be a little bit difficult, but you never know. It's never over till the drivers cross the start-finish line.
Well, there's no time to breathe there because Plaz M4 is right behind him, making sure he's got a run for his, I guess, his gas money there as they go through the tunnel. We see Daft Punk there with the time penalty as well.
I think it's a new penalty, a second one that he just clocked in on this lap, which is lap number 4 out of 5 laps. We're not too far away from the finish of race 1 here at the Grand Finals 2024 Toyota GT Cup Singapore. Camera's back now on Dr. Russell in camera to give you guys first-person perspective POV of what it's like to be inside the GR Corolla race cars. And like you mentioned earlier, Claire, it's awesome to see these drivers all driving to the limit, all of them driving the same cars. It's really putting the boys, separating the boys from the men.
I love these cars, little hatchback racing cars that are nifty in the corners, so much grip around the 15 turns at this 5.44 kilometer circuit that we have here. And we are coming into the final lap there, lap 5.
And that's best time for Dr. Dasyat Rasyat, which is a 2-minute 12-second lap time. So like you said earlier, you know, about a second behind race pace race leader Fedras Issa, who is not even on the screen anymore. We're just looking at battle for second position. Oh, there we go. You see a little bit the tail lights of Fedras Issa.
Just rear lights.
Exactly. The drivers have split up into a few groups, if you can see on the top right corner of the map, and cameras are on this battle for second position. I think there is a battle for 4th as well. Camera now on CXH, 6th position. Raymond 97 right behind him. CXH is driving by himself basically. He's got a 5-second gap between the driver in front and behind.
That's right, but every point matters here in the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore. A wonderful evening that we have here with the lovely watch party that we have at Lenki down in Singapore. And of course, these guys will be qualify for the overall entry into the international competition.
That's right. So sometime happening in Q4 this year will be the GT Cup Asia.
Are we in Q4? No, we're not in Q4. Oh, no, well, no, it feels like we're in Q4. We're in Q3 right now, yeah.
Yes, we're still in Q3.
I have no idea. Daytime, living in the moment, and living in the moment are these guys right over here. F. Isa, has he got it in the bag? I would say so, but though it comes very close. Is this a moment for Dr. Dasyat and OMG MVP who's going to make a last minute? I'm not quite sure. He's argy-bargy back on the heels of Dr. Dasyat Rasyat right there. He's making a last minute kind of challenge, and he's
Oh,
gone
there's
right into
contact
him.
with the two
Was
drivers.
that a dirty
LGMVP
move?
takes
We're not
it
quite sure.
inside.
It seems like it's holding.
That's right. Well, it was a very interesting battle for these two drivers. It seems like Dr. Dacian is still in second position. I'm not sure if GMVP throttled down a little bit to give him back the place because of that little contact between the drivers. But all eyes on Fudges Issa right now as they come to the front straight, crossing the start-finish line for the very first time. Fudges Issa is the winner for Grand Final Race 1, and in second position will be Dr. Dacian Rasiat, in second GMVP, third Dylan not too far away in fourth.
I know, that's exactly what F. Issa will be looking for, a very undramatic race. So that would mean it's clean, it's neat, he was on pace the entire way. So he had nothing really to worry about, no one competing against him, while those other two battled it out, and that took a big chunk off their lap timings as we have all 12 competitors coming for race 1 here for the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore, and we will of course then take a little look later at the points for race 1, and let's just see this rundown here. Oh, we've got 11:08.2.07, the total time for Fudges Issa in second, Zaim Rasad third, Ethan Yo.
Dylan Tan in fourth with a 6.4 second gap behind the race leader. Jaden Liao in fifth, Chua Sing Han in sixth, and Raymond So finishing the race in seventh.
That's right, so in 8th, Mohammed Faris is an Imran, and that makes up our top 12 over there, but it's quite interesting to see our two new boys, Dylan and Jaden, right? Is that correct?
That's
Who
correct.
have actually made it, and they're in 4th and 5th position, so I'm definitely going to watch out for them in race 2 and 3. You should do that too. As we see the points standing there, that is the first lot of points. What an exhilarating race 1. I can really feel what we're going to be expecting from the usual players, and then the new players which I mentioned just now with Dylan, with Jaden. I think it's going to be quite interesting. I think as the confidence grows, they're going to be able to hang on a little bit more to the race pace leaders.
I think it's interesting to see how, like you just mentioned, the veterans of the GT Cup that have been competing here for the past few years are really holding on to that position, but the newcomers making them work hard for that position. It's not going to be an easy race 2, and it won't be an easy race 3 where the points are a little bit higher than race 1 and 2. So everything comes down to the wire. Nothing is confirmed, nothing is guaranteed, especially in racing, not till you cross that start-finish line before the points are determined. Having said that, those results are provisional because there may be protests coming in from the drivers. Like we mentioned earlier, there were a bit of contact between the drivers. Sometimes the drivers like, okay, it's just a regular racing incident. Other times not so. So it depends on the situation if there are any protests, and that may or may not change things a bit.
I know, we'll wait on the word of the organizers and see if that was a clean race. And like you said, if any protests come in through. Also very interesting. Next time you go to a sim race, look at the drivers. They don't blink.
Oh, that's true, they don't.
It is really bizarre. They very rarely blink. It's quite a funny thing when you watch it. Like I actually see them, and yeah, I think they're sweating it out, and they don't blink.
Now, I wear contact lenses. I'm not sure if I would have spent an hour or two without blinking. They're going to pop out.
They pop out?
Oh, it's going to be dry for 2 hours? I think it might pop out. I don't know. Never tried doing that for 2 hours. I'm not going to try.
Awesome. Well, I think we are waiting for those provisional results. We are going to go for the qualifications for finals of race 2. This is the Red Bull Ring GP, one of the favorite tracks out here. This is the GR Supra. I love this car. And we just see on screens there for the lap.
That's right, so qualifying session is in play. These drivers are not waiting for anything. They go out on their out lap, and then it is full throttle all the way. This is the third lap already for the qualifying session, and we can see Fudges Issa in that pole position at the moment. MVP in second, Dr. Dacian Rasiat in third, Dylan in fourth, J369 in fifth.
It's going to be quite interesting because this lap, well, the Red Bull Ring has a lot of undulation. So for these guys to be coming off this hill and then going into a turn and braking, this is where their tie wear is going to happen during the race. So this is going to be very exciting to watch out for on the Red Bull Ring. Now, this circuit, as we see with F. Issa, he's set a time there of 1:42.938. It is a shorter circuit. Just now we had a 2-minute circuit for the race 1.
That's right. The drivers will be doing a little bit more racing in this. They will be competing for 6 laps instead of 5. And this, like you said, Claire, is a very fun racetrack. Not one of my favorites because I'm not a very good sim driver. And the last 2 corners, I'm always making mistakes, especially on the last 1 or 2 laps during a race. Now, I probably will not need to say this for the drivers who are competing tonight because they're all professionals and they do really, really well under pressure. But having said that, you know, it's still wide open at the moment.
Well, you can't blink because they would miss it, wouldn't they? Okay, Visa there, 1:42.93.8. So the time still sticks there as you guys settle in. It is a final lap there of the qualification. As we see there, MVP in second, Dacia, Dylan. But this time, let's just see the rest of the timings.
A bit of traffic there holding him up. So MVP, still managed to jump up to second rather, with a 1:42.981. Probably a little bit better without the traffic holding him up at the last corner before they come on to the start-finish line, but still a great start for MVP.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see these guys really for the qualification. It's very important for these to actually create space for themselves during the qualification to get a clean flying lap. But now we're going to come down and see the results for race 2 here at the Red Bull Ring.
That's
GP
right.
in
Now
the GR
this,
Super. And then we have the rundown, Hong. Tell us who we got.
Right up, Fadris Isla in first position with a lap time of 1:42.811. Ethan Yeo in second, Zaim Rasset in third, Dylan Tan in fourth, Jaden Liao in fifth.
Yeah, this seems to be a lot closer, the standings here between these top 12 here for the qualification. But if I'm noticing between Dylan, Jaden, the newcomers and all that, it is really tight. So these guys seem to be a little bit more comfortable now when it comes to going into race 2. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when we go at the green lights.
That's right, 0.5 of a second between the first 4 drivers. If that's your qualifying time and qualifying pace, that means for race, we're going to get a lot of bumper-to-bumper action, a lot of mirror-to-mirror action, hopefully not too much contact. It may happen, we never know. These drivers are trained, they're professionals, but emotions are emotions. And emotions are about to go really boiling red hot here at the Red Bull Ring for the race 2 grand finals. Drivers now all in their starting position, lights about to go green, and are we ready to go? It's a false start.
There are false starts that happened over here. They were bumping their back, so we'll see what will happen over there with the false starts. Of course, these guys a little bit too excited there with the false starts. So see F. Issa making it off that front starting line there.
Bit of a wriggle there as they come up to turn 1 on this slight uphill. A very challenging area because this, from my understanding, if they go too far off track, they will get penalized, but you do need to push as far left as you dare before making this right turn to really use the full width of the track.
Okay, we see there in 5th position Boysen just trying to cut it there with Dylan, but Dylan going off the circuit there into the dirt there, and it's still the mid-pack, it's still a little bit crazy. There's a bit of confusion going on there. What is happening between Dylan Boysen, Raymond 9?
That's a lot of pressure building up for Dylan as they come into the middle of the circuit. Very interesting, fun, and often dangerous, risky corner for all these drivers to take, especially if they go up a little bit too wide into the gravel, and that would be pretty much a game over. Not happening for any of these drivers, not on lap 1 of 6 for tonight's race 2.
Our usual suspects up in front, there's Dr. Dacia Rassad. They're trying to make it stick going into that bit of a sweeper turn there onto a long straight here. So these guys are really pedal to a metal. They're going to just be flat out, foot down here into straights before they come into a slight break in the right-hand turner. Let's see Boys in there. The screens are all on him with Plaz from a Jade right behind him. And he's gone very wide there, and not quite sure what has happened, but Plaz for me has just taken a spot in front of him.
That's right, losing 2 positions to CXH and 369 Jade. And a little bit unfortunate. Maybe he'll settle down into race pace, calm down the nerves a little bit, and hopefully he gets to fight back into contention. But there is contention up here as well. The battle for first, second, and third. Well, there's no battle for third. Penalty Fajrs Issa, I believe that was what I was just talking about earlier, what we were talking about earlier, when the drivers go a little bit too much off track for that extra grip.
Yeah, especially with the esports, it's a bit different, I guess, in real life here. But these guys, I guess, they have to be able to take the risks in this, because you're counting for seconds to get away from the guy behind you. But F Issa taking that 0.5 penalty, which it will be displayed as we go into a very tight break over here, but F Issa managing to just rein it in. I think here a tad bit too much brakes.
That's right. Now
there with MG MVP.
The time difference between Fajrs Issa in first and MG MVP in second is about 0.3 of a second. Fajrs Issa has a 0.5 of a second penalty that's going to happen really, really soon. And that also means that this might be an overtaking opportunity for MG MVP and maybe even Dr. Dasar Rasyat, which will be happening just seconds away from now. I'm jittering, I'm nervous.
Well, I can tell you, all eyes on those three, but Dylan has actually crept up on them. He is just kind of cutting away slowly at these three as they battle it out now. It seems that the competition is a lot tighter for this circuit because it is a well-known circuit, this Red Bull ring, so they've had many opportunities to be able to play on this, and because of that battle, Dylan is right out there. He needs to find a space where these guys don't realize he's there and be able to shut the door, maybe perhaps over the turn. He's got to wait a time there, be patient.
That's right. I think especially for a sprint race, you know, you need to find the right time to strike. And if you strike too early, you might lose positions further on in the race. Right now, we're at lap number 3, halfway point of race 2 for the 2024 Toyota GT Cup Singapore. Now, MG MVP was able to almost squeeze up to the front, taking first position, but not able to hold it for long. Issa quickly regaining that position. He goes off a little bit wide there.
Who can break the latest there? So that's what I see. Who can break the latest and who can come out the corner cleanest?
All about courage, and just like you said, Dylan right there on the tail of Dr. Dasar Rasyat, and they're not too far away now. And Dylan coming in on the inside, trying to break a little bit later. Will he be able to take that third position away from Dr.
That was a brilliant turn there by Dylan. That was clean, that was smooth. He didn't outbrake himself. He managed to control that turn and find himself in third position in front of Dr. Dasar Rasyat. But I can be for sure that Dr. Dasar is going to be hot on his heels and hoping to regain that. He's quite the aggressive driver.
That's right. Now, will MG MVP be capitalizing on this opportunity for him to pull away a little away from the third position and hopefully maybe to reel in Fajrs Issa, who's leading the pack pretty much from start to finish, or will he be yielding?
Fastest lap by Dylan, 1:43.281. So faster than the race leader, F Issa, and that really is him putting it down to the perfect lap where he was able to control the situation quite calmly. Then we have Dylan's on our screen, Dr. Dasar Rasyat there, but will he be able to make it up to MG MVP and be able to find another spot there?
Well, I think Fajrs Issa answered your question, Claire. He just clocked the fastest lap time of 1:42.743, taking that spot away from Dylan. But you're right, you know, Dylan is not too far away in terms of lap time, and 15-year-old, he's doing amazingly well.
Penalty there for Daft Punk 187. Didn't quite see what happened. I'm assuming maybe it's for track limits, but there we have in 8th and 9th position Raymond and Daft Punk there battling it out there with Daft Punk.
Ooh, cutting it on the inside, taking that position away from Raymond. Raymond going way off, way wide.
A little bit of red mist going on there between those two drivers here. We are in lap 4, coming to the end.
That's right, and there's a penalty for Dylan, who is in third position. 0.5 of a second penalty. We're going to see how that affects his race. Lame Lewis now dropping from 10th to 11th, again going wide on that corner with 10th position being taken over by HR8.
Yeah, just looking over there, Lamel, the Lewis, he's unsettled his car, and that's why you've seen the car kind of wag from side to side, because he's gone on the brakes hard, gone off it, and then gone back on again.
That's right.
Which
now
lost
penalty,
him a lot of time on a sweeper.
No, that's true. Now, penalty for Dylan has been cleared. That 0.5 of a second, losing a little bit of space. Dr. Dasar Rasyat now right on his tail as they come down to the final corner. Lap 4, moving on to lap 5. Dylan clocking another penalty, 0.5 of a second on this upcoming lap. It's really pushing the limits of the track and, of course, the Supra.
That is right, and this comes to the point now where experience in keeping it clean and keeping calm for the rest of the race here as he racks up another. But he's still there in third position. We'll see where he ends off. He's minus 0.1 seconds in between him and Dr. Dasyat in fourth position. Where is Dr. Dasyat right now? He's still hot on the heels. There we have it back on our screens.
Ooh, contact.
As we get contact there between Dylan and Dr. Dasyat. Just to let him know, I'm behind you. I got it. I will take back that position.
Exactly. Thank you very much indeed. Well, not happening at the moment. Not yet. Will it happen in the next 1.5 laps? We're going to find out really soon. Dylan now, I believe, coming soon to the penalty area where he will need to slow down for that half a second. And sometimes half a second is all it'll take for these drivers, especially when you're pushing the limit, especially when you're up top. Ooh, Jade 369 in fifth position, slowly creeping up behind Dr. Dasyat Rasyat as well. And here we go, Dylan in the penalty zone. Will he be losing that third position? Final spot on the podium to Dr. Dasyat Rasyat. We're going to find out.
Well, his penalty timing plus Dr. Dasyat, who's just behind him within that 0.5. I think that possibility, Dr. Dasyat won't realize what's happening. He'll be like, why is he slowed down? He's going to go past him.
Right, he has to, and especially at such a risky corner. There we go.
But Dylan lost it all by himself.
Oh.
He lost it all by himself. It wasn't the penalty.
That was a lot of pressure
caved.
being built up. Oh, he gets the penalty again on this final lap for Dylan Tan, right behind Dr. Dasyat Rasyat. I think what happened was the penalty kicked in. He had to slow down right before the last two corners, and just as he was speeding up, he may not have been familiar with what speed and where the braking points were, and might have braked a little bit too late. I'm not sure what that is, but a lot of penalties coming in right now.
Poison as well as Daft Punk there, racking up the penalties as well. These guys really just want to keep it onto a circuit.
Indeed, and that battle for fourth continuing on. Rather battle for fourth. Jade 369, fifth position, now close on the tail of Dylan, understanding that Dylan in front of him has a half a second penalty. The driver behind him, CXH, also having half second penalty, which is the perfect opportunity for Jade 369 to exploit on this final lap of the 6-lap race. Now, is he going to be able to do it sometime soon? Because this is that tricky corner where a lot of drivers went wide. Not happening. A little bit of a loose end tail at the back, still keeping it in control. Unfortunately, not using the full width of the circuit for the particular corner. It doesn't matter. He knows that his advantage is coming up really soon, and he's going to have to exploit it and take that position away from Dylan. Will Dylan be able to defend that fourth position? Let's find out.
Okay, there we are on the final lap here at the Red Bull Ring. A brilliant race with lots going down. We saw a lot of talent coming out of Dylan there for his race 2, and we see F. Issa really pushing the boundaries once again. Does he really need to in this last lap? Probably not, because I think this is where the checker flag comes out, and he takes it for that first position. OG MVP in second, Dr. Dasyat regaining that third position from Dylan in fourth, Plasma 4 in fifth, CXH, that was a close call, in sixth, Boyzan in seventh, and Daft Punk in eighth, HRA in ninth, Jaja in 10th.
What an exciting race. I think the nerves might have gotten to Dylan, who's participating for the first time at this year's Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore. Beautiful driving. Unfortunately, a couple of penalties that slowed him down. Quite a few seconds in total. And will that shake-up affect this race 2? We're going to find out soon. Here are your race results. Finishing first, Fudges is second, Ethan Yo third, Zaim Rasyat fourth, Dylan Tan fifth, Jaden Liao, and in sixth position, Chua Sing Han.
Okay, so that's actually quite interesting, just looking at the race results over there. As we wait for the point rundown, that's always the exciting point, because it gives you the good idea of their, like, where they really stand. And here we are with the points there. Race 1, race 2 in total. Fudges, and we've got Zaim Rasyat in second, Ethan Dylan in fourth, Jaden in fifth, Chua Sing Han in sixth. So you can see as we go down there, this is going to be quite hard now for Zaim Rasyat to really make up that space, because the first position is going to be 25 points for race 3.
Right.
So if you do the calculations, you know, he still has an opportunity, unless F. Issa drops pretty far down, then I think we're getting closer So making a prediction of who could be that person qualifying for the qualifiers for
Race 3.
Race 3.
Now,
That's
if
right, for
I
the
were-
international competition.
If I were a betting person, I will put my money on Fajrs Issa at this moment. However, those were provisional results. You know, there were quite a few bit of contact between the drivers. There were some penalties being thrown all over the grid. And
You can have one, you can have one, you can have one, you can have
making
one.
it rain with penalties.
Raining penalties. And then we have, coming up, finals, race 3, always a favorite with the crowd, always favorite in the racing world. The Fuji Speedway GP in the GR010, track length 4.57. Was that 9 laps
9
that I
turns.
saw there?
Is it 9 turns?
It's got 8 laps there for this. And the tyre wear of this is only 6 times as compared to the others, which was 16 times. Very exciting. I have been here many, many times on this circuit. It's a beautiful circuit. If you're very lucky, you can see beautiful Fuji sun, you know, raining down on you. But here we have it for the qualifying session here at Fuji Speedway. Also quite undulating. That first lap going into turn 1, exhilarating stuff, crazy in the rain. Luckily they don't have the settings of the rain, huh?
Really tight corner.
Have you've been to Fuji?
Many
yeah,
times
you've been
as well.
many times. You've been many times as well. Always fantastic racing in Japan. The circuits are always so well thought of.
And it's immaculate, inside and out.
I know
Beautiful.
it is immaculate. Actually, funny story here. We'll get to the qualification. I've actually wandered off one time on the circuit. I didn't have a photographer pass, and they zoomed in on me and
wow.
almost gave my team a penalty.
Because you didn't have your pass.
Because I didn't have a pass around one of the turns over there. But let's go back. This is lap 3. We're looking at the qualifications over here. Dylan in second, it seems, behind F. Isa. So coming up to race 3, I think Dylan knows. He's got the feel of what is going down. He's tasted that top 3 position, what it feels like to have victory, to stand on the podium. So I think that has given a bit of an ego boost for him there.
Okay, so I think qualifying got cut already. And here are the points standing after race 2. Oh, I believe that was a change due to a penalty. I just saw.
Was that with Ethan
I noticed.
and
That's
Dr.
correct.
Dustin, I think?
Right, with Zion and Ethan. So I think that was a penalty that was issued by the race control that changes things quite a bit. That's going to change this qualifying session very, very dramatically. So here's one more look at the point standing, a new point standing. Ethan Yo now boosted up to second position, 15 points after race 2. Zion dropping down to third with 9 points from race 2. Dylan still in fourth. So it's going to be a big difference how they finish this race. Now, obviously, if you're a race driver, sim driver, you want to finish top of the charts every single time, but that's not possible.
This car a little bit harder to control, a lot more aero going down on this, as we should see with these cars here. It's going to be quite interesting with the GR010 here. They should be able to come out of these corners pretty flat. Interesting enough, Dylan now in third position here for that final lap as the checker flag comes out for the qualification session. F. Isa, GMVP, Dylan, Dr. Dustin Rossard, and actually Plus, it'd be interesting, I have to really say that Pleasant for Jade up in 5th position. So we are seeing a little bit of a change there.
That's right, quite a few of the drivers now coming in. Oh, there we go. That was the end of the qualifying session for race 3. Fajrs is up top, Ethan Yo second, Dylan finally getting into the top 3 for the start of race 3. Zion dropping down to 4th. Still a great timing there from all the top 5 drivers. Jaden Liao in 5th, Muhammad Faris in 6th. Now, it's only 1 second difference between the 1st and the 5th driver for this qualifying session. Again, an example, or rather a good taste, preview of what to expect in the race coming up shortly as the drivers compete in the GR010. These prototype cars are so fast on the straights, they have so much downforce in the corners. However, to really balance that throttle and brake, especially when they go in and out of those corners.
It's quite delicate, it's quite delicate.
It's like a dance, it's like a ballet dance.
It is a ballet dance, it is a ballet dance in between. It's finesse, and the movements really have to be quite small, the changes going around the turns, just so that they don't help. Well, talking about that, we're just going to go to the green light situation here down at the Fuji Speedway GP. Of course, once again, full starts will be penalized, so these guys really have to make sure that when they're in the race, that their foot is down on the brakes. As we see the red lights ready to go out.
And they're off,
There we
racing.
go.
No false starts, it seems, but that was a pretty slow start for one of the drivers at the back of the grid. Some of the drivers at the tail end jumping, taking advantage of that. You can see Dylan there fighting for position, going on the inside, taking first position away from Fudgers. There's a lot of contact between the drivers here, and there's a bit of a traffic condition going on.
Always going into turn one. It's crazy, and in real life that is an intense situation. These guys now go into a right-hand sweeper to go around, and it's a very fast turn, and then they come into intense braking. There we go, Fuji-san in the background there, and this has a very long straight compared to the rest of the other circuits once they get round to the end, to the start-finish line. So it's going to be very fast. It's very technical, as you see down this back end before that straight.
That's right, they're coming up to the Dunlop corner now. A lot of mistakes may happen. No mistakes from these two top drivers. I don't think there's any contact.
No,
Hard to
Dylan's
tell.
showing no mercy.
Yeah, absolutely. Shut the door in front of Fudgers. Issa not letting off that throttle, going full throttle at every opportunity. Here's where it gets tricky as well. The left, right, left. And I think it's still a pretty clean. Dylan holding on to that inside. A bit of tire contact there, and there is contact. Issa almost going out, Dylan maintaining that top position. MVP taking full advantage of this, coming on the outside of the final corner as they come to the front straight that you mentioned earlier, Claire. This really long straight. MVP in third, Issa in second, Dylan still holding on to that first position. There is, of course, a half a second penalty for Dr. Dasset Reset in fourth. Oh, sorry, penalties for MVP in third, Dr. Dasset in fourth. Going to take advantage of that very quickly.
Okay, but MVP they will have to serve a penalty a little bit later, but will Dylan's inexperience make him lose that position? See Issa having battling up to second position, he's going to be applying that pressure right now, and the more that Dylan can stick his line. Well, Issa has overtaken Dylan right now, which is something which we might have a little bit expected coming from last year's race winner. But Dylan is still sticking with him, but he's got to be able to stick the line, be patient, and wait for that moment where he makes another mistake, and the pressure, or perhaps even for Dr. Daciat to come up behind. But MVP down in fourth now, as Dylan still there, right behind Issa in his rear mirrors.
That's
up in
right.
that hill as they go into these little chicanes.
Now the drivers have tire wear turned on to 6. May not sound much, but these are cars that are going much faster than the other cars that we saw in the competition earlier tonight, which means the tire degradation will be kicking in a little bit faster. And it is an 8-lap race, not so much an endurance, it's still a sprint race, but they still need to manage those tires. They need to manage their fuel, when to push, when to hold back, and to make full advantage when it's given to them.
Now it looks like the rest of the back of the pack, they're not too far away, to be honest. This so far we're only in lap 2 of lap 8, significantly longer here as we enter into lap 3. Will we see the race leader pull away? Looks like he didn't have much damage, but Dylan hot on his heels there, and definitely looked like he braked a little bit later than Issa going into that first turn there. But he's made it out unscathed as Dr. Daciat hopes to make it back up to the front pack, as I believe he knows he could probably take out Dylan and pass him by.
That's
oh,
right,
surprisingly, CXH.
That's right, CXH jumping up to 4th position, taking away from MVP. MVP having another half-second penalty that will be kicking on during this lap, which will affect his time and, of course, the distance between him and CXH. Dr. Dasarasat in 3rd position now. A little bit of a breathing space between himself and Dylan, who's in 2nd, and MVP in 4th. There you go, MVP now clearing the Dunlop corners with that half-second penalty, flashing right on top of his name.
Is that the same penalty, or has it taken the penalty yet?
I think this is the second one. I think it's
a second penalty. Okay, we'll see when that flashes up a little bit. I didn't see that he had to take that penalty yet, but not good news for him, MVP. Dylan still up in 2nd position, what is he? He's 0.15 of a second just away. Issa. The thing about Issa is that with his experience, once he gets back up there, we know he's gonna make it stick. But he very rarely makes many mistakes.
That's right, but you could tell that Fudgers Issa is driving really well, very focused rather, because he has a tendency to go drifting when he knows he's in a good position. But throughout this evening, throughout the race this evening, he's not doing any sideway action. He's being very focused.
Jaja over there trying to go on the inside, but he took that corner, he went on the inside way too early. That's quite unnecessary. That is definitely a lack of experience. He should just finish the line because there's no way he was going to be able to overtake there. In the position before him as we go back up to the front of the grid there, GMVP there, and CXH, who lost his position of GMVP back up into fourth. Dr. Dasyat still plugging away, chipping away at the old block there to get up to Dylan. But Dylan, spectacular driving.
That's
from
right.
him.
Fudges Issa here, also spectacular driving from last year's 2023 champion winner, potentially the winner for this year's race as well, but we're only halfway in.
I know, still got 4 laps.
No,
never
exactly.
say never to
only
the
halfway in, only halfway in. Not going to call the winner just yet. CXH now on your screens, 8 seconds behind race leader and about 0.6 of a second behind in GMVP. And coming on to the final corner before that long front straight. Now, it's such important. A lot of people think that because it's such a long straight, it's okay to mess up the last corner. It is absolutely not okay to mess up the last corner, because that's where you carry as much speed as you can into the front straight, and that will determine where you brake for the first corner and how much speed you carry into it.
Exactly, and these guys there on the straight, to get their top speed on that straight, it matters what they did in the corner before, like you said. So these guys going back into turn 1 again here at the Fuji Speedway. We have just under 4 laps,
Right.
with 3.5 coming up here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup.
That's right. Now, sometimes it comes down to the nerves, and sometimes the drivers may get a bit cocky because they think they have it in the bag, and then they make a mistake. I don't expect us to see any of that happening from these drivers tonight, but you never know. A camera now on Dylan once again, who's still holding on to that second position. Dr. Dasyat not able to claw back up to the second position.
If you notice, Dylan as well, fastest lap 1:28, so he is pushing, you know, and hopefully comes back next year. And
Oh, I
you can
believe
see him,
he
because I
will.
think, you know, with a little bit more experience under the belt, knowing what it feels like to be the heat of the moment into the competition with this esport game here, he'll know exactly what it's like. And he's a great driver in real life as well.
Yes, he absolutely is. I believe he just recently won some karting championship as well, so congratulations on that. But at this moment, it is all about living the moment. We're just a couple of minutes away from the end of the 2024 Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore Finals. Leading the race, Fudges Issa, Dylan in second, Dr. Dasyat in third, GMVP fourth, CXH in fifth, Jade 369 in sixth, and here on the outside of turn 1, coming in really close to CXH. Now, it's very dangerous for them if there's any contact. The damage to the cars could affect both drivers for the entire race.
It seems like with this car here, talent-wise, it has kind of bridged that gap a little bit more. It's a bit closer with the top 6 coming in. As we see there, Plasma for Jade, 369 there. Just able to keep that rear end.
That's right, with a 0.4 of a second. That's pretty much a blink of an eye in these prototype cars, regardless of where you're racing. But Fuji Speedway, what a brilliant circuit.
But interesting to see the lines between Jar Jar Raymond 97 over there, what they're taking as he's about to feel the heat from Jar Jar over there. Raymond 97, is he able to defend? But no, he shut the door there.
That's right. Now, that was also a very risky corner to do any form of overtaking unless the driver in front of you were to make a bit of a mistake, because it could be devastating for any contact at that corner.
What's your favorite car out of all of these?
Yeah.
Do you like the GR010, or do you like the Corolla or the Supra? What's your favorite?
Personal favorite would be the Supra.
Is it Supra? Yeah, I'm a bit of a Supra fan as well.
Well, the Yaris as well, but they're not using that for this year's Grand Finals. There was the Corolla, the Supra, and now the GR010.
Well, like I told you, the Yaris, I've been like thinking about this Yaris, like right, having that off-road capability. Amazing car, massive fan base for the Toyota Yaris cars as well. But I mean, all of these cars, pretty iconic here at the Toyota Gazoo GT Racing Cup here in Singapore, where these guys are qualifying here. Race 3, 3 of 3 races, and these guys are looking, I think we're going to have the top 2 that will be going into an international competition, and the top 3 will be going to that international competition. Who will take away that top 3? As we see there in lap 7, F. Issa, Dylan, Dr. Dasya, Rasad, MG, MVP making up the top 4 over there. I think it's quite impossible there with CXH making it back unless the whole top 3 or 4 got wiped out in one shot. CXH really taking it quite close to 2 wheels off the edge there.
Oh, it seems like J369 is slowly coming up and waiting for an opportunity to strike and take that 5th position. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, even if you don't come up in the top 3 finish, you want as many points as you can. You want to build up your career, especially for some of the sim drivers. They are trying to create a career out of this, and it's entirely possible now, as compared to what you said earlier, from 10 years ago, which would be a lot more challenging for these drivers.
Okay, we're on the final lap. And as of now, Dylan still sticks it with the fastest lap of 128.675 there. Their tie wear would have been quite high on this with the battles playing out, but F. Issa has managed to maintain cool, calm, collected at the front of the race. Will it be F. Issa who takes away race 3 as well? Will this define him?
It very much might. It's the final lap. Again, I'm a betting person. I may put an extra $1 on to Fadris Issa for winning this year's championship. Ooh, J369 oversteering there in a beautiful little drift. Luckily, he was able to save it and retain that 6th position. But I think it's not going to be possible for him to fight for 5th position for this remaining lap. Now, Dylan has clocked another fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 28.675, but that is not good enough given the 2.5 second gap that Fadris Issa has built, as you have your race leader now clearing the final quarter.
So he can taste victory, coming very close to him as he about to head down to the start finish line as the checker flag comes out. Taking it for race 2, we have F. Issa.
From poles to finish. Race 1, race 2, race 3, Fadris Issa takes the championship points and championship win for the 2024 Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore. Dylan Tan doing a fantastic job in race number 3, coming in 2nd position, momentarily taking 1st, leading the race for a while there, with Dr. Dasat Rasyad in 3rd.
Wow, as we see these guys coming in, making up the top 12 there here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Singapore 2024. This is it for race 1, 2, and 3 as we wait to see the race winners and we see the standings where their points lie, because it's not just about the winner and F. Issa. It'll be interesting to see who goes for the top 3 with the point system right now, because things did chop and change a little bit. Here we have the rundown. Fadris Issa, Dylan Tan, 3rd Zion, 4th Ethan, 5th Chua Singh, Jaden in 6th, Louis Lam, Mohammed Faris in 8th, Raymond in 9th, Sharjah in 10th, Hafiz in 11th, and Izan in 12th.
That's right. Now here will be the points after all 3 races. Now, just a gentle reminder, there was Dylan there taking
has
second
been an upset
right at the end. But by 1 point. Now this is evidence, because Dylan did not finish top 3 for race 1 and 2, but he did finish 2nd place in race 3.
And what a big impact that has made on the standings. Dylan Tan, first timer in this series, up in 2nd position. He must be pleased as pie with that, as we see now the rundown here. The finalists for the podium: in 1st place, Fadris Issa. In 2nd place, Dylan Tan, and in 3rd,
Ethan Yo taking the 3rd place. Might be a little bit disappointed for him knowing that he lost to Dylan by 1 point, but that's all it takes with sim racing. That's all it takes with any form of motorsports or any sports for that matter, and she's the expert here when it comes to sports, especially those hardcore competitive ones. But what a brilliant race event we had this evening, Claire.
I know, very exciting stuff. It's so great to see these newcomers, the up-and-coming race drivers come on screen and really see their skill sets translate from on the circuit to here on the screens. And like I said, Dylan, amazing job. We can't wait to see where this brings them for their upcoming qualification to the, well, I guess to the championship.
To the regionals,
To the regionals, which is a big deal.
So we understand that the GT Cup Asia will be happening in the fourth quarter of this year, so sometime in October. I'm not sure of the exact dates. If you want to find out, be sure to follow Toyota Singapore on Facebook and Instagram for all those updates, as well as the live stream of that race. Now, representing Singapore will be the top 3 finalists who completed tonight's race: Fedris Issa, Dylan Tan, and Ethan Yeo, who will be competing on behalf of National Pride.
Well, that makes up our 2024 race 1, 2, and 3 for here at the Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup Asia Finals. Thank you to all of you guys who've come out here to our watch party. Heartfelt thank you to all of you tuning in for the live broadcast. Of course, like Hong said, if you want to be able to look back and see the results again, you can catch this online. And of course, look out for that fourth quarter entries into, to the regionals, Hong.
Yeah, well, National Day in Singapore just ended. I'm going to keep my flags out, and when it's time for
I was wondering where you're going with that.
and when the time is to shout for Team Singapore, I'll be right there backing them up.
All right, and it's over and out from me, Claire Jedrick, and
Hong Choi. Thank you.